Okay, so we're going to do question 8.15. So in this question we are given Coptola's utility function equal to B power third and C power 2/3. So the consumer is willing to spend an income of $30 where the initial price is PC 0 of 2.5, PB of 1 and an income of 30. Okay, so it's during the promotion the price of coffee is falling to PC1 equal to 1.25. So it's asking you to so it's asking you to find the most preferred affordable consumption bundle at the original prices and also the most preferred affordable consumption bundle after the reduction in the price of coffee. Okay, so so first of all we just have to write out a budget constraint. The original budget constraint is going to be PC0 times C plus PB times B, and that's just equal to income. So we got PB, sorry I should do PB first. Okay, PC0 times C, and that equal to income. So it's PB is 1 times B is B plus 2.5C, and that has to be equal to income. So this is the original budget constraint. Okay. Now, so we know that the most preferred affordable consumption bundle for a well-behaved Coptola's utility function is just the point at which the slope of the indifferent curve is equal to the slope of the budget constraint, okay, or the marginal rate of substitution equal to the negative of the price ratio, okay, or the relative price. Okay, now marginal rate of substitution is just negative of the marginal UT that would B on the marginal UT that would C. And because I use B on C, that's why the relative price has to be PB on PC. Okay, so in this case we are doing the original price, so PC0. Now, so what we have to do is to find the marginal utility first. So marginal utility of B is just going to be the differential of the utility function with respect to B. And again, it's just very straightforward in this case. We have been doing differentiation for quite a while. Okay, so you're treating C as constant, so therefore C to the power 2 on 3 remain the same. Where you differentiate B to the power third, you get a third. B to the power, a third minus 1. So that will give you a third. C 2 on 3, B negative 2 on 3. Okay. And very similar for marginal utility of C, where we differentiate the utility function with respect to C, and so you would get so we're treating B as constant, so B power third will remain the same. And we multiply by the differential of C to power 2/3, so that gives us 2 on 3 C 2/3 minus 1, and so that is 2 on 3 B a third, C negative a third. So therefore marginal rate of substitution is just going to be the negative of marginal utility of B on marginal utility of C. So that is negative 1 on 3, C 2 on 3, B negative 2 on 3, everything divided by 2 on 3, B 1 on 3, C negative 1 on 3. So now I just have to simplify this. Okay, now a third divided by 2/3 is going to give me a half. and I want to get rid of all the negative sign in the power, so I got C power 2 on 3 remain there. Now if I move C power negative a third to the numerator, I will be able to get rid of the negative sign, so it's become C a third. On the denominator, I got B a third, which remain there, and B negative 2/3. If I move it down to the denominator, it's become B 2/3. So I'll get rid of the negative sign. Okay, so I got a half, negative half. C power 2/3 multiplied by C power third is going to give me C 2 on 3 plus 1 on 3. Okay, so this is the power rule that we learned before. And B 1 on 3 plus 2 on 3. So again, it's just going to give me a half C on B. Okay, so therefore the optimal condition over here, I would say this is the star condition. It will become half of C on B equal to the relative price ratio, which is negative. PB is 1 and PC0 is 2.5. So if I get rid of a negative sign, I'll get C on B equal to 1.25, so therefore B equal to 2.5C. Okay, so this is the optimal condition, and so if I substitute that optimal condition into my budget constraint, BC0, then I get B, which is equal to 2.5C plus 2.5C sorry, this is not right. I just forgot about a half over here. So what I got is C on 2B equal to 1 on 2.5. Okay. I'll just get rid of a negative sign. So what I got over here is B equal to 2.5C. Okay, so that is my start condition. So if I substitute 2B equal to 2.5C into my budget constraint, then I'll get, so B is still B, okay, plus 2.5C, and we know that 2.5C is just equal to 2B. Okay, and I want that to be equal to the income of 30, so therefore 3B equal to 30, and so therefore B equal to 10. Okay, so I would say this is B0. Okay, and then so therefore I should be able to find C. Okay, so if I substitute B equal to 10 into the star equation, then I will get 2 times 10 equal to 2.5 times C, so therefore C is going to be equal to 20 divided by 2.5. Okay, and that is just 8. Alright, so that's the C0. Okay, so this is the original most preferred affordable consumption bundle at the original price. Now at the new price, part 2, the most affordable consumption bundle at the new price. So I got the new budget constraint BC1 is PBB plus PC1C equal to income. Now PB is still the same, which is equal to 1, so that 1 times B equal to B. PC1 is now become 1.25 times C, and that equal to 30. Okay, so that's my new budget constraint. Now the optimal condition, again, it's just the marginal rate of substitution equal to the relative price. Now please note that the marginal rate substitution remain the same because it doesn't have anything to do with the price. Okay, so long as your utility function remain the same, marginal rate substitution is the same, which is equal to a half of C on B, and the relative price, which is different now, okay, which is PB on PC1, and that is 1.25. So therefore I get rid of a negative sign, and so I got 2B equal to 1.25C. If I do the cross multiplication, I get this. Okay, so this is the double star equation I call. So if I substitute the double star equation into my new budget constraint 1, then I get B plus 1.25C equal to 2B now, which is equal to 30. So therefore B equal to 10 still. And so if I substitute B equal to 10 into my double star equation, then I get 2 times 10 equal to 1.25C, and so therefore C is going to be equal to 25 divided by 1.25, which is 16. Okay, so the new consumption bundle is where B equal to 10 and C equal to 16, so upside is B1 and C1. Now part 3, asking you to find the Hicksian demand based on the original utility achieved and the new prices. Okay, so we want to find, so the Hicksian demand is basically the demand for the goods, where we are keeping the utility the same, okay, and we want to see how the change in price going to affect the demand for the goods, and that is basically capture the substitution effect. Okay, so so the Hicksian demand is basically the expenditure minimization problem, where we try to achieve a certain level of utility and in the cost minimizing way. Okay, so what we want is we want to minimize the acquisition cost, okay, which is A, that is equal to PB times B plus PC1 times C, because the question telling you we face is the new prices. Okay, so we know that PB is 1 times B, and we know that PC1 is 1.25 times C. So what we want is we want to minimize this subject to a constraint that we have to achieve the original utility. Okay, so we want the original utility, we want our utility which is equal to B a third, C 2/3. It has to be equal to the original level. Now what is the original level of utility? So in order to find that, we will just have to substitute the value of B0 and C0 back in our utility function to find the original level, okay, which is U0. Okay, so subject to the fact that we want the utility level to be equal to U0, okay, and U0 is just going to be found by substitute B0 and C0 into our utility function. Okay, so we know that B0 equal to 10 and C0 is 8. Okay, so we want a utility equal to this. And we want to find a bundle B and C so that is going to minimize the cost of expenditure. Okay, so what we do is again we will just have to equate. Alright, so the optimal condition is still going to be the same. So the optimal bundle that is minimizing the cost is still going to be the bundle where the marginal rate of substitution equal to the negative of the price ratio. Okay, again, marginal rate of substitution remain the same because our utility function is the same. So a half C on B, it has to be equal to the negative of the relative price. Remember, this is the new price, so it has to be PB on PC1. Okay, and so that it's just going to be 1 on 1.25. So therefore, our 2B is equal to 1.25C. Alright, so now if I want to find the value of B and C, I know this condition, which is basically the double star condition. So if I substitute the double star condition into my constraint, and in this case, the constraint is that we have to achieve a certain level of utility. Okay, so into outside this is triple star equation. Then what I have is B a third, C a third. It has to be, sorry. So over here I would have C equal to 1.6B. Okay. So if I substitute this into our constraint over here, I got B power third, C power 2/3, and C is just 1.6B, 2/3, and that has to be equal to 1/10 1/3 and 8 to 2/3. Okay, so from here I should be able to find the value of B. Okay, so I got B to power third times 1.6 power 2/3 times B power 2/3 equal to 10 1/3 and 8 2/3. Okay, so B 1/3 times B 2/3 is going to give me B. Okay. And if I move this 1.6 thing to the right hand side, I'm going to get 1/10 times A 2/3 divided by 1.6 2/3. Okay, so my value of B is just 10 power 1/3 times 8 divided by 1.6 is 5 2/3. Okay, and so now to simplify this, so 10 is basically 2 times 5. Okay, everything to power 1/3 multiplied by 5 2/3. Sorry, if anyone doesn't get it here, that is just basically 8 divided by 1.6, everything to 2/3. Okay, and so 8 divided by 1.6 is just 5, and 10 is 2 times 5. So if I expand the bracket, I get 2 1/3, 5 1/3 multiplied by 5 2/3, and so that is going to give me 5 times 2 1/3. Okay, so that is the value of B. So knowing the value of B, we should be able to find the values of C, which is just equal to 1.6B. Okay, so 1.6 times 5 times 2 is just going to be 8. Alright, and sorry, A is just going to be 2 power 3 times 2 power 1/3, and that is just 2 3 plus 1/3 is 10 on 3. Yeah. You don't have to do this, you can just leave it like this, it's fine. Okay, it's just basically a number. If anyone using the calculator to get a number here, that is totally fine. Okay, so I got a value of B and C in this case, and this is called a Hicksian demand, so I would say BH and CH. Okay, so this is the Hicksian demands for the two goods. So part B, asking you to calculate the substitution effects, income effects, and the total effects of this price change. Okay, so the substitution effect is where the demand is going to change from the original consumption bundle to the Hicksian demand, because it's basically capture the change in price, keeping the consumer at the original level of utility. Okay, so the substitution effect is for B from B0, okay, to BH. So we got B0 is 10 and BH is 5 times 2 to the power third. So I would say that is smaller than 10. Yeah. So B is basically decreasing due to the substitution effect. Okay, so B0 to BH, so it's decrease. I would say B. Okay, decrease from B0 to BH. Okay, and the amount is 10 minus 5 times 2. Okay, so it decreased by this much, and C is basically increases from C0 to CH. Okay, our C0 was 8. And say CH is okay, so the decrease over here is 5 times 2 a third minus 10, and that should be a negative number. Okay, and the increase over here is just going to be 2 to the power 10 on 3 minus 8, and that should be a positive number. Okay, so B is decreasing and C is increasing, which basically makes sense because we have a decrease in the price of goods C. Okay, so therefore people are going to be substituting away from B, because B is becoming relatively more expensive and C is becoming relatively cheaper. So therefore people are going to increase the consumption of C and decrease the consumption of B due to the substitution effect. Okay, how about the income effect? Okay, so the income effect is just going to be the change from the Hicksian demand to the new consumption bundles B1 and C1 over here. Okay, so given that the Hicksian demand is keeping the price at the same level as the original price, as the new prices, then the movement from the Hicksian demand to the new demand that we found in the previous part in B1 and C1 over here, it's just going to be the income effect. Okay, so income effect is B is moving from BH to B1 and C from CH to C1. Okay, so I got B1 is still equal to 10 minus 5 times 2, and so that should be positive. Okay, and income effect from CH to C1. Now C1 is 15, sorry, 16. Okay, so the new consumption of C is 16, and the Hicksian demand was 2, 10 on 3. Okay, and this should be positive as well. So both of these are positive, indicating that the income effect is positive for both of these goods. And so that is saying that both of these goods are normal goods. Okay, because the income effect is positive for all of them. Okay, so therefore it's normal, and this one also normal. Alright, so the total effect is going to be just the substitution plus the income effect. Okay, so that is just going to be for B to move from 10. Okay, so B to move from B0 to B1, and for C0 to C1. Okay, so part C, explain whether or not the consumer consider coffee and biscuit to be normal goods. Okay, so as I already mentioned earlier, both of these are normal goods because the income effect is positive for all of them, for both of them. Okay, so I'll say both are normal because, okay, the income effect is positive. Okay, for both goods.